Field of 68 After Dark. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. It was one of the best days of college basketball that we've seen this season. It was a night where we had 6 Blue Bloods playing. 16 of the last 21 national championships were represented in the games that were played tonight. We had a thriller up there in Syracuse where Adrian Autry picked himself up a really big win. UConn goes into the fog and knocks off the Jayhawks. We're going to ask Norm Roberts and Thomas Robinson all about that. And we got to talk about Duke's win, Isaiah Evans' shot. We were able to catch up with Isaiah for a little bit here as well. But we have to start with the game that we all just saw. Kentucky held a 6-point lead with about 6 minutes left, then goes on I think that was a total of a 10-minute scoring drought against North Carolina. Final score of that one, number 16, North Carolina, 67, number 18, Kentucky, 64. UNC was led by 17-10 from Henry Visar. But to me, Norm, the story of that game was Derek Dixon. We've been wondering what North Carolina's point guard situation was going to be. He hits a huge three to put him up with about a minute left, and then he ends up having that game-winning layup on the drive to the left that you ruined for me because your feed was about 10 seconds before mine.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's going to be really good for them. I think they found themselves a point guard. He knows how to create tempo. He knows how to create space. He knows how to get the ball to people. And with his size and his shooting ability, he gives them something they don't have right now.
Mm-hmm. Goodman, what did you take away from North Carolina's win? I mean, they dominated the offensive glass. Henry Visar was awesome. Caleb Wilson had, I believe it was 15-12, 6 assists, couple blocks, couple steals. Like that looked kind of like a throwback North Carolina team getting on the offensive glass like that.
And two teams that just didn't really have a true point guard, right? I mean, Dixon made that play at the end of the game. They gave him the ball and said, hey, just make a play, but more out of desperation than anything else, that they don't have another guy like that. And Kentucky, obviously with Jalen Lowe out and uncertain whether he'll be back or, if or when he'll be back from that shoulder injury, Kentucky's offense looks dismal. Now they fought at least tonight. And you wanted to see that, right? You wanted to see after last week and Mark Pope looking like, he lost his dog after the game at the Garden. You wanted to see them come out and fight, and they did at least. But they're flawed. They're flawed right now without a point guard and without a lot of shooters on their team. So this was kind of an ugly win. But Carolina, huge win on the road, in Rupp. And showing that maybe they do have a guy that they can put the ball in his hands and he can make plays because, frankly, they don't really have, another guy like that. And you'd heard so much about Dixon in the preseason, how good he was, and now's the time that he finally showed it.
Yep. I'd also just like to point out we have a new member of the broadcast here. We have Thomas Robinson, Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and say Kansas legend, All-American.
Appreciate it.
In the draft is joining us here. You got a chance to sit here and watch Caleb Wilson play.
Yeah,
and I'm just curious, man. Like we've talked a lot about like who he reminds you of, what kind of player he is, and how good he can be this season. What do you make of his performance tonight?
I love that he stayed consistent with it. He was having a rough game a little bit, I would say, going into the second half. They threw a lot of bodies at him tonight, but he stayed consistent with it. He's great at getting to the free throw line. He did that a couple times in the second half. Got him some shots, and then he just made some plays down the stretch that you can't really teach, and that goes to shows the players that we quote unquote say separate themselves from the rest of the pack. When things not going well, he still found a way to get on the board. He still found a way to help his team out going towards the end of the stretch. So I like that he stayed resilient tonight, and that even though he started off rough, he found a way to finish and ended up with a double-double. That's 5 in a row for him. I think he's the first freshman to do that. So at UNC. So I like his night. Came out with the W, stayed consistent. I like it. I'm proud of his night tonight.
Yeah, Thomas mentioned resilient there, Goodman, and I think that is the word that I would use for this North Carolina team in that performance. Right, we saw them go down to Florida and kind of get smacked a little bit by Michigan State on Thanksgiving, and you come back here and they're really struggling offensively. They can't throw the ball off a boat and hit water. And they're down by 6 with about 5 minutes left, Goodman, and they still come back and find a way to be able to win this game. They won this game with their defense, more or less. That's not something that we would have said about the Tar Heels last season.
No, and I do think it starts with Caleb Wilson and the Visar. Like, those are the guys that, to me, we saw Henry at media day, and without Seth Trimble to get this win, because he's their best defender. We know that. And he's their leader, and he'll be back in a few weeks. But I think, that's the beauty of this win if you're Hubert Davis, is you were able to go on the road, get a win without your leader, without your veteran, without your best defender. And by the way, Rob, just call him T-Rob. All right, no Thomas. Just call him T-Rob.
Hey, we were gonna get there, man. We were gonna get there. Norm, break down this.
I was gonna let
one
tonight
for North
pass
Carolina.
first before I start correcting you.
I'm just gonna call you Mr. Robinson. How about that one? Is that better? Norm, the ability to bounce back like that's something that's pretty impressive for a team like this.
Oh, I think so. The one thing I would say, Caleb Wilson, and I'm dating myself right now. They kept saying he reminds them of Michael Jordan. I think he reminds me of Len Bias in the way he gets off the floor so quick, the way he rebounds it, the way he can turn in the air and shoot. I think he's phenomenal, and he was a key. The reason why he had a bad night or a stat line that wasn't very good is he was taking more shots. He was being more aggressive because Seth Trimble's not there. And Seth Trimble is that other great athlete for them. So they don't have anybody who can really get it downhill to the basket and attack the hoop. So he has to do that. And I thought tonight he was tremendous. He is going to be a top 5 pick. He may even go higher because he has such a ceiling that's unbelievable.
How much does it change, Norm? How much does it change when Seth Trimble does get back, right? Like I don't think people really realize what he brings to that team and the value that he provides, both defensively, the ball never sticks when he has the ball in his hands. He doesn't care about stats. He's about winning. I think when they get him back, if we see this kind of like defensive effort, that is a game changer, his addition.
It is, because he's so quick. I mean, you cannot keep him in front of you. He's going to get it to the basket, which now makes the defense collapse, now makes Vassar and Caleb Wilson even better on the offensive glass. Tonight, they had 20 offensive rebounds against a big Kentucky team. And that was a big key to the game. And I think when he gets back and the way he can defend, if Dixon keeps going in the right direction, they're only going to get better and better. They're going to be very, very dangerous.
Yeah. All right. Goodman and T-Rob. I want both of you. Go ahead, T-Rob. Go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, just to piggyback off Norm, I agree. They get a leader back. Kind of take some of the pressure off Wilson also and some of the bigs just by having some more better guard play. So I like this team when they get back. I think both of these teams are going to be dangerous come March. I'll see with Kentucky playing so hard and giving their all tonight, especially with Lowout, one of their main players, but still finding a way to stay in the game and still give a good fight. And then North Carolina, like we've seen, without their main guard and just finding a way to dig in and win. I like both of these characters for these teams come March. Both of them will be a teams to deal with, hard teams to deal with.
Yeah, we know what you think of Louisville, Goodman. We know how good Duke can be. Where does North Carolina kind of stack up among the big three at the top of the ACC?
I think they're still third, but I think they're third where we thought maybe it was kind of them and NC State, like 3A and 3B. I think now they're clearly the third best team in the league. And this was a huge win for Hubert. Let's face it. Yes. I mean, Hubert comes into the year with some pressure on him. It's kind of every other year, I feel like, for Hubert, right? Like he had that run his rookie year at the end of the season. Then 2 years ago, they finished in first place in the ACC. Didn't go as far as people wanted them in the NCAA tournament. Last year had a rough year. And now this year, I think could have another good year. And I love their freshmen. And, this is the year of the freshmen. They have one of the best in Caleb Wilson. But, again, I think Derek Dixon is a guy that flew under the radar and is going to be pivotal for them because, the Evans kid is a nice player. He's a nice player transferred from Colorado State, but he's not a game changer. And he's not really a point guard. Dixon could be that.
The world we're in college basketball right now is you got a nice player that's going to be making 2 combos worth of salary there for North Carolina. I just feel like we have to mention we've talked a lot about the Tar Heels.
That's
We
crazy.
haven't mentioned that the best player on the floor was Henry Visar. 17 points, 10 boards, was a menace on the offensive glass, had a couple of really big dunks, like the one where he comes
He's
down
having
the
a great year.
Yeah. T-Rob, what do you make of him?
I love him. Actually, he gained a fan from me that game against Kansas a few weeks back, and I felt like he just was a step ahead of our bigs, way more mature than them, the way he played the pick and roll, how good he is in that short roll area, the athleticism of him. I love him as a big. So I definitely think he's having a great year quietly behind another player such as Wilson himself. So that front court is definitely something to deal with. I love both of those bigs.
All right, I do want to flip this. I want to go to the other end and talk a little bit about Kentucky. Norm, the last time that you and I discussed this Kentucky team, we were talking about how Mark Pope looked like he ran over his dog in his driveway and was really upset about the level of fight and the level of effort. There was the fight was there tonight. They guarded their asses off. But I don't think that if you are the Kentucky head coach in your second season, when you come in with the expectation of being a top 5 team and a $22 million payroll or whatever it is, being able to stay with a North Carolina team like this that doesn't have their starting point guard, that's not a great sign for where you are right now. What do you make of this Kentucky team that can't score 1 for 13 from 3 in this game? Where does the ceiling come from? How does this team get back to the point where they can compete for Final Fours and championships?
I think the biggest problem they're having right now is they really don't have a clear leader. Like when they play, it just seems like they got 5 talented guys out there playing the game, but no one's leading them on the floor. And it's hard for a coach to lead them on the floor. They've got to have some guys step up. Even Aberdeen tonight, he's a terrific player, but he takes some bad shots, some really bad shots at bad times.
Norm, he drives me crazy. He drives I want to rip my hair out watching him play sometimes, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's $22 million.
Yeah. And now Chandler, I thought Chandler was at times maybe forcing it a little bit too, but it's almost like, well, I better get a shot up or something like that. And then Owe, I thought he played better tonight. I thought he attacked the hoop and did some good things down the stretch there. But, not having Diabate tonight hurt him from an athleticism standpoint. I think Moreno's going to be a terrific player. The other foreign kid played okay, but I just thought North Carolina's bigs were just too athletic for him. And the other thing is they weren't able to get those bigs in foul trouble. North Carolina doesn't have any depth in the front court. That game, you had to get those guys in foul trouble, and then it changes the whole course of the game.
Hey, Rob, here's my question to you. So right now, Dauster, obviously Kentucky's without 3 guys. They're without their starting point guard in Jalen Lowe.
Yeah.
They're without their big, Jaden Quaintance, who's a beast.
Yeah, and then supposed to be a tough guy.
And then obviously they're without Diabate as well. T-Rob, what do you think this team can be? Have you given up on them as far as being what we thought they might be with a $22 million payroll, and that's a Final Four team?
Yeah. I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah, to go out and spend $22 million, I'm highly disappointed at it so far because, like we said, you got to put these guys in a professional chair now after spending that much money. Then, if that's the case, then it's next man up mentality. So I may have 3 guys out, but I spent, let's say, roughly a $10 million more on the rest of you guys for somebody to step up. So I am disappointed just because, I feel like they went out and did what they had to do to get the players and get the right fit for the players that they got coming in. And it's just not, the production's just not there. So I'm definitely I'm definitely giving up on this team, but I'm a little biased too. I don't like Kentucky though.
You didn't like Kentucky.
The
So
truth comes out.
So is Tyler Hansbrough on our show. So you and Tyler can kind of coordinate your bias and your hate of Kentucky.
I'm just sorry, man. $22 million. I need next man up. I shouldn't have the worries of having a top guy out that we're going to struggle, because that's why I went to go spend the big bucks.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I do think that the biggest issue they had tonight was guarding the paint and getting on the defensive glass. And I think that is where Jaden Quaintance makes the biggest difference, right? Like, that's what he does. Yeah. He's big, he's athletic, he boards, he can block some shots. I don't know if Jalen Lowe necessarily changes how much they do offensively. Like, he's just he's got to have the ball in his hands. And I think their issue right now is just they don't know what they want to do on that end. Like, it feels like their whole game plan tonight was, let's get the ball, let's drive to the rim, let's find a way to get something going to the basket. And that just didn't work. Like, when you have a guy like Colin Chandler, Norm, and you have a shooter like Cam Williams, and you have guys that can really get him up and knock him down, I feel like you should be trying to create more opportunities for those guys to get open looks. And it felt like everything they were trying to create was come off of this zoom action, get a curl. They're going to be trailing you, find a way to get going to the basket and get a layup. And it worked a couple times early for Owe, but a lot of those other guys, like, they're just not built to do that. Like, I feel like you want Chandler to be coming off of those screens and catch and shoot and knocking down some threes. And I don't know if he's just trying to instill a different kind of mindset of aggressiveness, but that was my biggest issue. I said this at the Champions Classic, Norm. Like, I don't know what this Kentucky team's identity is.
Yeah, I'm not sure they know what it is. And they've got so many guys that can score off the bounce that I don't think they wait for the situation to happen for those guys to come off screens, because guys are ready to make a move and attack the whole time. Another guy that hasn't played much is the young kid Jasper. Jasper Johnson, and he's a guy that can shoot the ball. And I don't think he played. He only played 5 minutes tonight. So they've got to find a way to get more cohesive as a team and kind of play more to their strengths. I think what they're thinking now is we're just going to win purely on talent, and that's not going to be the case when you're playing against good basketball teams that are going to take care of that. Yes. Well, talent to score, they don't have. I don't think they have a ton of scores. Like, Garrison's not a scorer. He's a rebounder, shot blocker, runner. Moreno's a drop-off guy. That's how he's going to score. You know what I'm saying? Even Debate is an attack the basket, offensive rebound. He's not a scorer. Now, Chandler can shoot. I think Aberdeen can make a play and score. Owe's kind of a downhill guy, but they don't have many catch and shoot guys. So they're playing probably a different style than what Pope was used to playing at some other places. Or last year's team. The issue. Last year's team had shooters.
I think the roster construction. I think the roster construction is the issue more than anything else, right? Like, I don't think you have enough athletes and defenders to be able to play this kind of style, right? We're going to win games in the 60s. We're going to force some turnovers. We're going to rebound. We're going to make it difficult for you to score. I don't think they have enough athletes to be able to do that, or enough defensive pieces. But they also don't have the shooters and the offensive weapons that you need to be able to be what we thought Mark Pope was going to be. And it kind of feels like
are good enough, Rob. The shooters are Cam Williams and Trent Noah, and they're not good enough. They don't do everything else good enough to stay on the court.
Yeah, exactly. Got to play some defense. But I think getting a point guard fix all of that. That's the first key. Getting a solid point guard back on the floor.
Okay, and that's a question. Number one, is Jalen Lowe going to come back? Number two, is he really a point guard? Is he really a guy who's going to make everybody better? Or is he a guy that's going to look for his own?
You're right. That's a lot. That's a big ask of him also, to come up and step up and be that role so young, especially with a team like this. But I can't stay away from it enough. That's what we pay you the big bucks for. So he's gonna have to step into that role and the leader, and putting that offense together. That's the only shot they got. If not, then we're just gonna see a bunch of athletic guys going out there just trying to play basketball and pray they get some ugly wins throughout the year. But without a decent point guard, somebody controlling the offense on the floor, I don't see too much happening for him.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We're going to see a lot of 1 for 13 3-point shooting nights, which is if I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm sitting here saying that is not what I was pitched when I was told this is what Mark Pope is going to be when he's coming into the program. We got to hit a break. We got 3 other big games that we have to get to tonight. When we get back, Cam Boozer had 29 points, but I do think that the guy that was a headline for tonight was a returner for this Duke program. We'll be talking about that after the break. As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app. You sign up using bonus code FIELD. You deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. If you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Dauster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 On3. Get the scoop. Well, welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. We are live here. It is Tuesday night. It was one of the best nights of college basketball that we are going to have this season. And we are going to dive into here UConn's win at Kansas. The final score there was 61-56. Hopefully we're going to be getting a guest here soon in a minute. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. But I think the story of this game was the pieces that were missing, right? Kansas didn't have Darren Peterson. UConn didn't have Terrace Reed. And I do think that the overarching thought that I have, and I'm going to start with you guys on the Kansas side, Norman T. Rob. I thought the biggest story for me was that these offensive droughts that Kansas has, they do all the other stuff. They don't really have a guy that can just go get you one at the end of a clock. And that is obviously what Darren Peterson can do, Norm. Are you feeling better about this group now, seeing what they're doing, seeing the way that they can compete, some of the role players stepping up in his absence in the last couple of games, like what they did in Las Vegas here? Do you feel better about this spot, or are you starting to get a little bit worried about, okay, he's not going to be able to solve everything offensively?
No, I feel better. I feel better about the team. I do think they have guys that are stepping up, guys that are making plays that need to be made. You know, in tonight's game, when you think about it, they had 3 bad possessions defensively in the last 2 minutes that gave UConn the burst. They made some mistakes on switches, which gave them easy shots, and give UConn credit. They run great offense, and that killed them. But otherwise, they played nip and tuck with one of the best teams in the country without their best player, who makes the game easier for everybody. He makes it easier for Badunga inside. He makes it easier for Tiller. He makes it easier on the guards. Everything, because he can score. He can set people up. He's got great size. He makes them even better defensively because of his size. Being 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan, he makes them even better defensively. So I feel better about Kansas, where they are and where they're going to go.
T-Rob?
Yeah, same. I couldn't agree anymore. I think after Vegas, I gained a lot of confidence in this team, because I'm pretty sure after that Duke loss a couple weeks back, the whole preaching from coach was probably toughness, especially with DP being out. You know, finding some guys who are going to step into their role and, and finding identity for when he does come back. So I think guys did that. I think they went to Vegas. I think they responded more than well. I think the bigs are coming along. Guys like Trey White, who didn't have a good game tonight, but I've been proud of his role that he's been stepping into and trying to be a bigger scorer for the team. I'm happy about Marco Jackson right now. That's probably my biggest excitement. I've been waiting for him to kind of get rolling, get his confidence going, because he's a big piece for Kansas, especially coming off the bench. So I see this team right now, like I said, connecting late conference time going into March, and that's perfect timing to me. Right now, I like what we're doing. I like that as I'm on the team. I like that we that we're growing consistently around the board. So when DP does come back, he's going to open up a lot of pieces for us. The shooting, with him being such a big attention on threat on the offensive end. So, I'm happy, man. We still got guys like Cole, who we waiting for to start knocking down some shots. So there's room for development. And I feel like they definitely got better, with DP being out.
All right. So, Norm, I got two questions for you. Number one is I've gotten a ton of people reaching out to me today specifically, but it's kind of built up of like, what's going on with Darren Peterson? What the hell is going on? What's taking so long? And I've been the one to say all along, like, hey, it's a hammy. You got to play this thing safe, because if you don't, he's going to be out another 6 weeks if he comes back too quick and pops this thing again. So try to get Kansas fans off the ledge with that, number one. Norm. Number two, this is great. The supporting cast looks better. Kansas is not playing and never has played for a Sweet 16. Is this team capable of going to a Final Four and winning a national title if Darren Peterson does come back healthy? Or are we talking about, hey, you know what? Rah, we're going to be happy. We'll get to the second weekend and that'll be hunky-dory.
Well, to answer your first question, I think you're dead right in what you're saying. When you're dealing with a hamstring, that is a very, very sensitive area. And the bottom line is, if you put him out there too quick, you could lose him for 6 to 8 weeks, or you can lose him for the whole year. Okay, so we're just beginning the season. You have to be careful with him. Make sure he's fully healthy to get back, can deal with the strain of playing tough games. Like, it's not like he's going to be playing in games against weak competition. They've got a tough schedule coming up. Yeah. So it's not like you're going to say, okay, we only need you to play 15 minutes here. No, they're going to need him to play. So they got to make sure he's healthy enough to sustain himself, to stay out there and fight through injury. I would also tell you this. I think with Darren Peterson and the way the team is getting better and better, they do have a chance to get to a Final Four. The biggest thing is, and everybody knows this in coaching, when you get into the NCAA tournament, it's all about who you're going to play, where you're going to be seated. Okay? So if you're seated in the right spot, you get the right competition you're playing against, the right opponents, you can move on. You can move on. It happens every year for everybody. But I think the good thing with Kansas is they're going to play such a tough schedule. They're going to be prepared for anything that can be thrown at them. And then hopefully these guys that are playing a lot of minutes now, when Darren's out, it's only going to help them grow and get better. And, obviously, the Big 12 is a beast. The Big 12, I was talking to Bill Self the other day. It's not the top of the league that's so good. It's the bottom of the league that is pretty darn good. So there's no off nights in the Big 12 at all. So they know that. They got to make sure he's healthy.
Yeah, one thing, Norm, we'll get to the other thing. T-Rob, hold on one second. We'll get to that part in a second. We're now, I do think that we do have our guest here joining us now off of the win. Yes, it's UConn head coach Dan Hurley off the win. Dan, I'm going to let you know right now, Goodman might have set you up because we have former Kansas assistant Norm Roberts, former Kansas star Thomas Robinson here on with us. Congratulations on the win. What can you make out of this victory going into Fog Allen and winning that game?
Yeah, I'm just happy those guys weren't out there because Norm beat my ass. Norm beat my ass a couple of years ago in that building, and T-Rob, I didn't want any part of that monster right there. I mean, I think for us, it's it's just I think that the team's ability, to win it with our defense. I think it's last year. I think our offense has not been as good as we thought it would be to this point. Obviously, not having Taris to throw it into a lot, not having Braylon really available tonight until tonight is kind of hurt. Solo shooting slump. I mean, a lot of things have affected where we're at offensively. But what excites me about the team is the defensive potential. Like we've got the defensive potential to win games at that end of the court, and that's what killed us last year.
Hey, Dan, after you lost to Arizona, I could tell how you felt about this team because I've never seen you that, I don't know if happy was the word, but like you were smiling after that loss at home to Arizona because you knew what you had. And you get Braylon Mullins out there tonight, and Eric was really good that night and even better tonight playing extended minutes. Like when you get Taris back, I've said it, I think you might be the best team in the country. I know Michigan's looked unbelievable so far. Obviously, Arizona was really good against you guys. But do you feel like, hey, this team has the potential to be as good or in the equation with those national title teams?
Yeah, I think that's why you probably – I mean, the Kansas fans might not agree tonight that I was calm on the sideline, but – I do. I feel like, I feel like I mean, they were chanting, they were ready for me. But, I think that, the team, I've spent enough time around the team to know, that, we've got the two centers. I mean, what Eric Reiber did tonight, to be able to play Flory even on the road, and Flory's a problem. He's one of the best offensive rebounders. It's hard to keep off his right shoulder. He's a monster in the roll game. So, we know that we're when Taris, that wasn't me. When Taris gets when Taris gets healthy, we're going to have that two center rotation that that we were able to build championship teams around. Just getting Braylon back in that lineup, being able to put Braylon and Solo and Alex Caravan, on the perimeter around, the 2 point guards that we believe in and the two centers, and then the wing depth off the bench that we've got, I got a lot.
I think we got him
Go
back.
ahead. Yeah, we got him back.
Hey, Danny, how you doing, man? Congratulations on the win, bud. One thing I would ask you is, did you say something to Caravan? When he won down that 7-0 run, I mean, that was huge. That was huge for you guys, I thought. And he really played off the shot fake. He made the deep three. But did you say something to him in the huddle or to get him going?
I was just looking at him. I think it's just kind of give each other a look. It's like, and my message in the huddle was like, in the second half, we're fighting, we're competing with a lot of honor, and we're staying together. We're making a lot of winning plays and a lot of toughness plays and a real slugfest type of game. If you guys want to win the game, you got to go. You got to go make some shots. You got to go make some plays on offense. You got to cut. You got to roll. You got to step into a three. We're fighting hard, but which is great and it's admirable. But if you guys want to win the game, AK, you got to go make a shot. Solo, you got to go make a shot.
Go ahead, T-Rob.
Okay, yeah. Congrats on the win, Coach.
I know that hurt, man. Look at it. I can read your face. You don't mean that.
But no, Coach. I've seen in the past that you preach that you believe getting your bigs and having your bigs healthy all year would be one of the main keys to getting back to hanging banners. So outside of that, of course, we're getting a guy like Ray back 20 and 10. Outside of that, what do you think this team has to do to become champs again?
Yeah, I think there's as tough as it was for us to play against them, switching everything tonight. Obviously, they had a lot of prep. I mean, they got done in Vegas pretty early, so they had a a pretty lengthy prep to work on switching a lot of our stuff. But so I would say,
Yeah.
I would just say Silas and Malachi being able to understand our actions and get their eyes in the right places to be able to, like we missed on a lot of slips today that we should have turned
Yeah.
into points. Or, so I would say getting these two quarterbacks to be able to, get their eyes in the right place in our offense.
Yeah, I like Malachi. He's been a big spark for you guys coming off the bench this year. So hopefully he
he's
can
got the
stay in
New
that
York,
role.
the New York.
Yeah,
shake and
you know how
shake,
hard that is to tame, man. So
Yeah, every team needs it though. You don't need a bunch of choir
Yeah.
boys over there. I could use a couple
Yeah.
wild dudes, man.
Yeah, he might be
Last thing I
looking
got
at the
for
rim
Dan.
before the row.
That's why we got T-Rob on here. We needed a wild card.
Yeah, I need to spark the space out. Man.
Where is
All right,
Goodman
Dan,
right
last
now?
thing I got
Where
for you,
is he?
then we'll.
I'm
Where
in
is he?
Charleston.
Is he-
What do you mean, where am I? Where do you think I am? I'm down here
Because I can't.
in
Is
the
he on the
warm
screen?
weather.
Is he on the screen right now?
Oh, Hurley
He's
can't
hiding
see
from
me.
you. He's ducking the smoke, Dan. He's
I'm
I
ducking the
wanted
not
to
smoke.
glare at him
Last
again.
thing,
I just wanted to glare
last
at him
thing I
again.
got for you, then we'll let you get out of here, man. Silas Demery. We
Yeah.
see the talent. You see it in flashes. It looks like he's kind of thinking a little too much out there instead of just getting out there and
Yeah.
playing. How do you get him to the
Yeah.
point where he is the guy that we know he can be?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a process. It was a process with Tristan Newton. I do think he's ahead of where T-New was, kind of this time in his first year. But, like we ask a lot out of the point guard, like we, we run the things we run on offense and there's some complexity to it. And again, it's having your eyes in the right place and being able to deliver and execute in the half court when we're trying to run certain things, but then also being able to pick your own spots and play off script and create and transition or when things break down. I just think, he's flashed his capabilities. His on-ball defense has changed the complexity of our team defense being, I think it's going to be championship level, and he's a big part in that. And, he'll master playing quarterback for us.
Hey, Dan, we saw each other twice in Boston and in stores a couple weeks ago. Do you miss me?
I wasn't looking for you today. I wasn't in the press conference saying, like, where's Jeff Goodman? I want a question from Jeff Goodman. But, I mean, it's always nice to see you, I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
When you're not being an asshole, All right. We go way back. It's all good. We're working on it.
We go back. Hey, we go way back to when I was ranking you number one when you were at St. Benedict's when you didn't even deserve it.
That's right. That's right. Some of those teams. Oh my God, I appreciate. You know what? You're right.
You got to think about it.
Hell of a win. Anytime you go into Fog Alley and get a win, man, you should be celebrating. So good to see you, man. We'll talk soon.
Great win, Coach.
Appreciate it. Later, boys.
Thanks, Dan.
Later.
That's head coach Dan Hurley. Let's go real quick here. I want each of your guys just thoughts on UConn and kind of what they can be this season. Norm, we'll start with you first, and T-Rob, then Goodman.
I think they can be a tremendous team. And I think the influx of Braylon Mullins tonight was a key. I don't think they win the game in Allen if they don't have Braylon Mullins. That guy made some big shots. He's only going to get better. He's got great size. He actually defended pretty good as well. And the kid, Eric Ribey. Ribey's going to be a good force for them. He's got good touch around the basket. So when they get Reed back and get everybody going, and Silas Demery's going to get better. He's going to get better. He didn't look to score as much tonight. He is a talented guy. But a key guy for them is Malachi Smith. That guy is a jet, and he's tough. He's really tough. So, and I think they got everything they need to be a team that can get to the Final Four and win it all.
Yeah, same. I like them. I like them overall. I do want to see some things of room of improvement. Like I know Ball right now, he was one of the best shooters in the nation last year, and right now he's not really shooting it to his standard. I would like to see him going. guy like Malachi Smith, like I mentioned, I love him coming off the bench for Kentucky, kind of play that 6-man role, come off, give him a spark and score. So I want to see him stay in his role also, which I think will help UConn down the road. And Demery Jr., I love his game. I love that he does a little bit of everything. He damn near could walk off the floor with a triple-double, and, I love guys like that. So this team has plenty of room to grow, and which I think, once again, they're going to be very dangerous come March. But if they see us again, they will lose. So I just want to – but we'll be a good team come March, man.
They got everything. They got everything you need to win another title. That's why I asked them that. They got multiple shooters now with Solo Ball and Mullins. They got the bigs that they kind of had, obviously, when they were winning the titles. They've got depth. The only thing that, again, and Rob asked him at the end, the only thing he really needs to come along is Silas Demery to be consistent. But I love that they have
and
Malachi
that takes
Smith
them overboard.
Yeah. I just think when you look at every team around the country and you say when this team is healthy, I think they have the fewest amount of weaknesses, and then you throw the coach in there. You throw a Hall of Fame coach in there who's already won 2 titles in the last few years. Yeah, honestly, I think they're probably going to be the front runners to win the whole thing in a month.
Yeah.
I'll
say this. The way that they guarded today, I thought really stood out, and I thought was really important because when Reed gets back and you can run out those lineups with Silas, Solo Ball, Braylon Mullins, Alex Caravan, and Terrace Reed, it puts you in an impossible position defensively. If you try to switch everything when Terrace Reed's out there, you could just throw the ball into him every time that he ends up with a little guy on him. You can't switch everything with Terrace Reed out there. If you try to guard them, like part of the reason why Kansas had to switch everything is because you can't have a guy like a Bryson Tiller. I'm not just calling him out. It's any 4-man. Illinois wasn't able to do it when it was when it was Mirkovic, and Arizona wasn't able to do it, which is why they had Koa Pete. They cross-matched and had Koa Pete guarding Jalen Stewart. You can't have a 4-man chasing Caravan around screens, but the 4-man can't chase Braylon Mullen around screens. So you have to change the way that you play to be able to match up with them, which is going to make them easier for them to guard you. It just once they're at their peak, I don't know what you do to stop them defensively. If Silas gets going and Reed gets healthy, that what they can do offensively is just I don't. What do you do, Norm? What do you do? You're the coach. You give game plan for stuff. What do you do?
I think this. I think if you can do flat hedge or drop coverage on them, force Silas and Malachi to be more scorers and be able to stay with the shooters, I think you could have a chance. Now, you got to have rim protection to do that. Mm-hmm. I think you could have a chance, because the one thing they may be missing somewhat is like a Castle, a guy that can put it on the deck and just attack the basket. They really don't have a guy like that. Now they run so much good stuff and they got so much good movement.
Do you think it can be Silas?
I think it can be. I think it can be Silas, because Silas is very good at getting the mid-range, like Tristan Newton. He's very good at getting the mid-range and getting to the basket. He didn't do much of that tonight because Kansas was switching everything, so it wasn't as easy to get downhill.
Yep. All right, listen. Go ahead, T-Rob.
No, you go. We was talking about that guy getting to the basket, and I kind of think I read a couple of things, that was one of the things people was looking for Ball to do coming into the season, because last year I think 80% of his shots, maybe more, was off assisted. So he would just catch and shoot. And this year he's putting the ball a little bit more on the floor, and I kind of don't like it. So I kind of feel like that's what's messing with his shooting percentage and changing his game, because he's trying to play more in between. I wanted him to be that guy. So, that's a question mark for me also. Who's going to be that guy to get in the middle for them, call some attention.
Yeah, I think it'll come. I think it'll come. I'm feeling really good about where UConn is right now. I teased it earlier that we're going to talk about Duke. I promise you we're going to get to that Duke conversation here on the other side of this break. As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app. You sign up using bonus code FIELD. You deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
Well, welcome back, Field of 68 After Dark. It's the Tuesday evening edition. Rob Dauster. I got Norm Roberts with me. I got T-Rob Thomas Robinson with me, and I have Jeff Goodman with me. And Jeff, I'm going to start with you first on this one. Number 4, Duke, 67. Number 15, Florida, 66. We got 29 points and 6 boards out of Cam Boozer. I thought Pat Ngangba was terrific. Isaiah Evans struggled shooting the ball and hit a big three. But I kind of came away from this game saying, hey, you know what? If Boogie Flan can be what he was in the second half tonight, maybe we all wrote off Florida a little bit too soon. Is that too much of a hot take?
I mean, that wasn't the take I had coming out of the game, but that's a take. I mean, that's certainly like a supplementary take. The first take I had was, hey, that's a hell of a win for Duke still, because Florida came all the way back, took the lead. And for Duke to, and that play kind of summarized that obviously when they doubled Boozer and he found Isaiah Evans, who couldn't make a shot before that all night from three, and he's wide open from three, just shows you how much attention Cam Boozer commands. Everybody's terrified of him right now. So I think, again, this Duke team still has its flaws. But what they do is they compete defensively. They're better than I thought they'd be defensively. Maybe not quite as good offensively. I just thought Caden Boozer would be their starting point guard already at this point, and the offense would roll a little bit more seamlessly, even though we're only a month into the season. I still worry about that point guard spot right now. I don't think Caleb Foster is the answer at the point. I still think it's Caden Boozer. So that's the area that I'm worried about. But Duke continues to win games. They continue to win games against pretty good teams. You know, it started with Texas and Charlotte. They beat Kansas, not a pretty game, in New York. Then they beat Arkansas in Chicago, and now they beat Florida. They've taken on all comers so far and passed every test.
Mm-hmm. T-Rob, what'd you make of it?
Big time play by Boozer. Back off what Jeff said. I think that his brother Boozer also should step into that starting spot. I think that's the level. I think the off probably run a little bit smoother. And like I said, even the win over us, they got the win, but it just wasn't pretty to me. And I know you're not going to have a pretty win every night, but I would like to see their offense, especially with a highly offensive guy like Boozer down on the block and how much attention he draws. I feel like the offense should run a little bit smoother. And on top of that, he's a willing passer. He's a great passer, actually. He proved that tonight with that big pass and big open he found and having the confidence in his teammate. But I would like to see their offense run a little bit more smoother as the year goes on.
Yeah, Norm, do you remember at the Champions Classic we were talking about the stuff that Duke can do offensively, and we both were talking about how using Boozer as the handler in a ball screen and letting Evans set those screens and go screen it. And we were like, yeah, you know what? They should do more of that. And then I think 2 possessions later, they actually went out and did it, and Evans banged home a 3. And that's what got them the game-winning shot. I think me and you right here, I think we're onto something. I think we should get into this coaching thing, man.
Hey, you want to know something? As soon as they put the ball in Boozer's hands, I said to myself watching the game, here comes Evans. He's going to go screen. He's either going to screen or go screen out of that. And he did it, and he actually screened on that one and popped, and then he threw it to him. It was a great play by Boozer, big-time shot for Evans, because he wasn't, let's be honest, he wasn't shooting the ball great. And that was a big-time shot for him. I thought Boozer was terrific in the first half. He dominated the game. He dominated the front line of Florida, which I thought was going to be really hard for him to do. Now, in the second half, I thought that Florida was much smarter at guarding him, limited his opportunities to go score. I thought Duke got a little 3-point crazy, shooting the ball instead of playing through him like they did in the first half. But to me, the guy that was a big force for them was Patrick. And I can't say Patrick's last name, but I'm telling you that guy he has improved so much. He's the key to their defense. I think he had 5 block shots tonight. He had 5 assists. He's a terrific passer. And they needed all those assists that he had. So I think he's a huge key to their team. And that's why they can win pretty or they can win ugly, because they're willing to do the dirty stuff.
Yep. Go ahead, T-Rob.
No, I was going to say both of the bigs. It was a block party. 11 blocks total, 5 for each bigs. So that's amazing, man. To protect the paint like that, have 2 bigs you could count on to get 5 blocks in a tough game like this. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. We the man of the hour was Isaiah Evans, and we were able to catch up with him after Duke's win over Florida in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke's Isaiah Evans, fresh off of hitting the game-winning 3. Isaiah, I want to ask you this, man. You're 0 for 7. You get teed up for that shot. You're wide open. What's going through your mind? That's going in no matter what. I need that shot. I need that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely ready for it. But at the end of the day, I got to give praise to the Most High on that one. Obviously, I've been struggling to knock down and shot the whole game. I've been trying to get my layups going, my defense was going. But, I got to give praise to y'all on that one. I know he was with me on that shot.
How important was that win, the way you got it, Isaiah? You obviously had commanded the game most of the way. They made their run. They took the lead. To get that win that way, how important was it?
It's important, definitely, because, it definitely gives us confidence knowing that we're a team that can battle the storm. Every game, obviously, isn't going to be a blowout. Every game isn't going to be won by, a comfortable margin. And so it just lets us know that we can execute and, in high intense moments.
I got to ask you about Big Pat, man, because I thought he made so many big plays, big offensive rebounds, big blocks. Just being big in the paint matters against that team.
Yeah, I mean, I tell Pat all the time. I've been a fan of his since we were like little boys, like in high school. like Pat is so freaking good. Like we almost get mad at him because it's like he doesn't know how good he is himself. And so, I'm really proud of Pat. Just so how he came back from injuries. He was battling a little bit of injuries last year, and then this year he's just stepped up for his big time. Last game at Arkansas, he had the big block. And so this game, he had 5, I had 5. But, Pat is really, like, he commands our defense. He's, our anchor on offense. And so, I can't speak highly enough of him.
Said you've been a fan since you guys were little boys. He's ever been little? He hasn't always been that sick?
No, his nickname was always Big Pat. He's been a big guy his whole life. But, yeah, I mean, I've been watching Pat since we were young. Like, I've always liked, his touch, his feel. He's not your typical big man. He can do a lot of things. And so, he's just really skilled.
Yeah, Isaiah Evans with the big shot, the game winner. I do want to flip this. I want to talk a little bit about the Florida angle here. And Norm, we'll go to you first on this one. The questions that we had was not about their front court. We know how good Tommy Hawk is. We know how good Alex Condon is. Ruben Chignello is a walking double-double. The question has been the guard play. And Xavier Lee, I don't think has been good enough yet this year outside of one second half against Providence. But we saw Boogie Fland in the second half today really get it going. He had 13 of his 16 in the second half. And I think it was like in the last 5 minutes, he had 4 pull-up jumpers that he hit that really brought, like when their offense stalled down the stretch, it was give it a Boogie, let Boogie go make something happen. And he finally made something happen. Can that be something that is sustainable with him? Can he consistently be that guy that can get you a shot when a possession breaks down?
I think he's totally capable of it. And I saw it firsthand when we played against him in an exhibition game last year. But he's extremely fast. He's got great length. He's a very good on-ball defender. He can really snake a ball screen and get in there. And he's good from mid-range, probably better from mid-range than he is from three. Mm-hmm. So I thought he just got very aggressive and confident in how he was playing. I thought the biggest thing for Florida was in the first half, their big guys were probably a step slow and playing on their heels because Boozer was playing so good. And I thought in the second half, the bigs started doing what they normally do, crash the boards, attack the glass, play with a force. I thought they played with in the second half because they do have the best front line, one of the best front lines in the country. Thomas is always going to get to his right hand, and he's going to attack the hoop. I think he's playing very, very well for Florida right now, but they have got to get something from Xavier Lee. He's struggling to score. He's not shooting the ball well at all. He's actually passing the ball pretty good, but they've got to get him and Boogie playing well at the same time. I think it's a huge key because they're going to play against very athletic teams in the SEC when the conference schedule comes around.
Yeah, how do you do that, T-Rob? How do you get a guy that is struggling like that to get going?
I think it starts in practice. It starts in between the games. I mean, well, he has the conference schedule and non-conference schedule to build confidence, but I think it starts with them, man. It starts in the practices. It starts with, doing all the small things over and over and over, and then building good habits so that when it does come late in the year, you rely on habits, good habits that you've been trying to build. If you do hit a slump again, and that way you know how to play through it. Speaking of, I think that's something big too. Finding other ways to affect the game. I think I'm a big believer, if you find another way to affect the game, your true talent or your true gift is going to find its way back, to you naturally. If you just find your way to stay in the game somehow. But that's that. But for Florida, man, I want to welcome Flan to the party because I've been watching Florida and I've been reading preseason. They've been waiting for this second half. The first half, you couldn't throw a penny in the ocean. But the Flan we seen in that second half, if Florida could get that every game from him most of the year, then they're a new team. They're a completely different team because they need help scoring right now, and he's definitely somebody that I believe that could do it. He showed it. He hit some big shots tonight in that second half. So I was excited to see Flan step up and step into himself, as I would say as advertised, as he's been preseason and now. So I'm happy to see that from him.
Dauster, 4 assists on 25 baskets tonight. That's not good. Their best offense is just kind of either playing bully ball, playing volleyball, getting that offensive rebound and going back up with it. That's their best offense. And, Xavier Lee doesn't have to be a big-time scorer. He doesn't. He can average 8 points a game for this team. Just run the offense, get the bigs the ball where they don't have to work so hard to be able to manufacture baskets because they have the talent on the front line. We know that. Lobs, that certainly could work for this team and get them easy buckets. Low post entry passes where they're sealing. Like, it's not that hard with this front line, but I feel like that's the problem when you bring in a guy that came from the Ivy League that's trying to right now figure it out in the SEC and against high-level opponents, and then Boogie Fland, who's not really a point guard. Let's face it, he's not. He's more of a scoring guard.
I think this was kind of the game plan. Yeah, I think this was the game plan that Todd had when he put this roster together, was that we're going to go out and get 2 of the best off-the-dribble shot makers that are available in the portal. We're going to let them go out and try to make shots off the dribble. And if they miss, we have the best front line at going and getting offensive rebounds. And, oh, by the way, Tommy Hawk could end up being a lottery pick when things are all said. He's awesome for the record.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah. He's been doing.
So I think that's kind of like the way that they designed it. And I don't know if that's going to work if you don't have the ability to make, like, Xavier Lee
also played 7 guys. Dauster. They played 7 guys tonight. That's and again, Clavs he can shoot it, but he can be a liability in some aspects as well.
They got a lot of liabilities right now, but I will say that there's enough talent there that I'm not writing off a Todd Golden coach team yet. They're good. They haven't quite figured it out yet. I think they'll get there. We're going to get to the after. Syracuse fans, Michigan State fans, hang around. I promise we're going to talk about you guys when we get to the afters. Before we do that, let's go to toasts of the night. Goodman, I'm going to go to you first. Give someone a toast, man. Who you got?
I mean, this is an easy one for me. Well, not easy. I'm choosing between 2 guys, but I got to give it to Red Autry. I got to give it to him because I saw him in Vegas. Those 3 losses, man, they almost beat Houston in the first game. They were a basket away from beating Houston. Then obviously they get stuck with Kansas. And the third game, man, that second half, I felt so – I mean, they got put 60 points up on them in the second half against Iowa State. So I felt bad because it could have been a different trip if they had won that first game against Houston. But he gets this one tonight at the Dome against Tennessee without Donnie Freeman. J.J. Starling, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but J.J. Starling made some huge shots down the stretch. So huge win for Red Autry. And I like the court storming. Can I say this before we get on to Norm here? I'm all for the court storming.
Save it. Save it for the afters. We'll get into it in the afters, I promise. Go ahead, Norm. What are you doing tonight?
I've got to go with I'm going to go with Braylon Mullins. I'm going to go with Braylon Mullins to play like he played in the atmosphere he had to play in, because Allen Fieldhouse is the best atmosphere in the country. And for him to make shots the way he played and coming off an injury and all those things, I'd have to give it to Braylon Mullins. He did a great job for them. Without Braylon Mullins, I don't think UConn beats Kansas.
I will toast to that, Norm. I will toast to that, Norm. Go ahead, T-Rob.
I have 2 guys. I'm going to give mine to – I'm going to say Elmarko Jackson, as I mentioned earlier. I love the way he's stepping into his role of kind of being a scorer off the bench for Kansas. Also for, a lot of players get affected, and I'm not going to say, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but some players get affected by the portal. And, their playing time may be affected. Their role to the team may be different. And he's a guy that I felt like stayed patient, stayed professional, as we could say, throughout this whole time, first few games of the season, and then coming in that last game and coming into his role. So I take my hats off to him for being such a professional and staying ready. And then Mullins. Mullins played big tonight. He has a lot of hype around him also coming into the season, being as good as he is. But then, with everybody just screaming, red, terrorists, he comes in and shows that we're deep. We're deep at the big spot, and we definitely have another big. That's really good. So,
hey, T-Rob, we got to teach you. So, toast of the night, there are a couple rules.
Yeah.
All right, a couple rules. One, you can't pick the same player. So, Mullins is off the board. All right.
My bad.
Number 2, try to pick the winning team. Try to pick somebody from a damn winning team, not a loser.
I'm just saying, man. I gotta give my guys.
He's Kansas through and through, baby.
I gotta give my guys props because, man, that's hard. That's hard, to stay
all right,
calm and stay ready in those situations. So I respect that, and I think more players can learn from that, honestly, because it's a lot of that going on. We just don't highlight it. And then next thing you know, the guy's in the transfer portal. So that's just how we handle it now. So I wanted to show, I just wanted to give him some props for that and keep leading by example. That's all.
My toast is going to go out to Ben Hammond at Virginia Tech. He had the game-winning layup as the Hokies went into Columbia and knocked off South Carolina, one of the games in the ACC-SEC Challenge, where the ACC is doing pretty damn good this year, Goodman, after they got embarrassed last season. Listen, We're going to get to Syracuse. We're going to talk about Michigan State. We're going to spend some time on both of those games. That's coming up in the afters. Stay here. Don't go anywhere.
These my DJ Burns things I had for
that was like taking them into the depths of Alaska and just dropping them off.
The first person that's gonna die got to be one of the black guys. They're not gonna make it to the end of the movie.
That's like asking somebody, do they want to get a prostate exam or a damn gunshot wound?
Every time, man, it's the slide. Every time people notice the slide, I go sliding into the baseline.
Why did I even do the slide? I don't even know why I slid that.
The story goes, it was the opening day showcase last year, and we had just called 3 games in a row. We were all a little bit exhausted. We were probably all a little bit wired. And they brought us a couple of nice cold Coors Lights to do after dark in the little perch there in South Dakota. And Goodman had a couple Coors Lights, and then we were like, you can't do – we challenged him that he couldn't make it up back in a certain amount of time. And he's like, watch this. And he sprints up and he sprints back. If he had time left, he slid into the baseline. And he was like, that's what
no hammy.
This is how I
surprisingly, T-Rock, you see when you get beat.
No
Norm's age. Norm's older than me. All right, Norm's a little bit older than me. When we slide in our age, you might not get up.
Yeah, exactly.
I win the races.
Exactly. That's why I play golf.
All right. There you go. All right, let's get to Syracuse.
Can I start the afters with something? Can I start the afters with 4 words? 4 words. I'm counting there. My math isn't great. All right, 4 words are: the ACC is back. That's how I want to start the afters.
Yeah.
Are anybody going to fight me on this?
No, I was counting.
6-3 tonight.
I was counting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Still got 2 more nights.
Push back, Norm.
No, I don't. I agree. I do think that, what Wake Forest has done, how they played. Virginia Tech obviously played well. The bottom of that league looks like it's better. Syracuse is a lot better than what people thought. Notre Dame holding their own. So I do think
about
that
the biggest one, Norm? Hey, Norm, the biggest win in a way, the biggest upset win, and Dauster, I don't know if you'll disagree with this, is Miami going into Oxford and beating Ole Miss handily. Like, that game was never close the entire way. There was never game pressure put on by the Rebels. And that's Jay Lucas, a rookie head coach, going to Oxford and beating Chris Beard and the Rebels. That is a huge win for the league. Huge.
Miami's got some really good pieces. They really do have some good pieces. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. I think they're going to have the chance to be maybe 5th, 6th in that league. They got a chance to be that high in that league.
Yeah, rookie coach, some great guard play down there. I like Miami. I like the energy of having a new coach and a fresh start, especially a guy
and a young coach.
Young coach, player coach, come from a great program. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something surprising this year later on.
Yeah. That's a really good win for the ACC, a really good win for Jay Lucas. You know who else got a really good win, Goodman? Red Autry. Knocked off Tennessee. Final score there was 62-60. For me, I think the headline, Jeff, was J.J. Starling. He's been a guy that we've known about his ability. We've known about the talent. He's been around Syracuse, it feels like, for 37 years, right? And the question has always been, can he do it for a team that wins games? And I think today you saw just about the best version of what you could ask for J.J. Starling. He played well defensively. He was part of the reason why Jacoby Gillespie and some of those guards in Tennessee weren't able to get it going. And then he just waited his time. Second half, scored all 12 of his points in the second half and had 2 huge threes in the last 2 minutes to help keep Tennessee at bay. I mean, that's kind of what you want out of him. and just a huge. I don't think you can say how big enough that win is for Syracuse. For a team that needs to get kind of that marquee headline of the resume victory. And oh, by the way, they also have a guy named Donnie Freeman that's going to be coming back here at some point. Jeff, what do you make of this win for the Orange?
I mean, they needed it desperately. Again, like I said earlier, losing 3, the way they lost that Houston game in their first game, and then it kind of went downhill after that to where they gave up 60 in the second half to Iowa State. A really good Iowa State team, but you can't give up. They look like they quit, to be honest, in the second half of that game. So I was worried. I was really worried how they were going to be in this game, whether they would show that fight, and they did. Nate Kings was awesome in the first half. I think he had like 18, 19 points. He had scored like 23 or 24 points the entire trip in Vegas. So he's an elite shooter. He got him off to a good start, got their confidence, but I thought they did a really good job on Nate Ament, to be honest. They were physical with him. They didn't make it easy for him. He really, like in Vegas, he looked pretty good, to be honest. He looked pretty good. He was aggressive, and I thought he was lost for most of the game against Syracuse. Didn't know what to do, and they were really good defensively and kind of putting a body on him and making it difficult for him, and he was never able to get into a groove. And this is a probable – he'll be a top 6 pick. He could go anywhere from 3 to 6 in the NBA draft this year. And they did a great job in Jacoby Gillespie and cut off kind of the head of the snake of the Vols.
Yeah, Norm. So Syracuse doesn't have Donnie Freeman, and they beat Tennessee. Kansas doesn't have Darren Peterson, and they beat Tennessee. The key here, don't have your best player, and you'll be able to beat the Vols. Is that kind of how this goes?
I don't know if that's how it goes, but I would tell you this. I think Syracuse versus Tennessee was a great matchup because they're kind of clones of one another as teams. They're both long, athletic, not great scorers. I thought that Tennessee, Gillespie and Ament looked tired. I thought they looked tired and worn out, and that's what's going to happen to Gillespie. Because if Gillespie has to run the team, guard the point guard, also score the ball, coming off all those pin downs, constant movement, he is going to get worn out. And that's what I thought you saw from him. He didn't have the same pop he had in Vegas playing tonight. And the Dome might have had something to do with that, the crowd, and obviously Syracuse too. But he didn't look like the same player. Their best player was Carey inside. He was terrific. He destroyed Syracuse inside. I think he had about 22, 24 points. But Ament didn't look the same. He didn't have the same pop about him. And that's what I think is going to hurt Tennessee. Tennessee's a very good team. They're tough. They're going to be physical. They're always going to guard. But I don't know if they have enough scoring the ball to be one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, T-Rob, they are just so reliant on those top 2 guys. Like if you're not getting you need to get a great game from one of Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament for Tennessee to be able to win on the road, to be able to beat some of these top teams.
To win at all. And when they're going and when they're available, that's a great thing to rely on. But then when teams dial in on them and kind of slow them up and cause a slow night, excuse my language, you're fucked. You got a pretty tough situation on your hand. I'm not sure. Can we cut that? My bad.
You can.
It's the afters, man. There's no rules here.
Oh yeah, cool. So yeah, you're in a pretty tough spot, man, when your 2 best players don't show up to play, or they just get all the focus on them for that night. So I don't like it. It's a tricky game to play. If I'm the staff, I'm begging for that third guy or that next guy to kind of give us some production, to give us any type of hope in the future.
Hey, T-Rob, did Bill Self ever say that word to you?
What? Fuck?
The F word. Yeah, did he ever say that word to you? I mean, you.
T-Rob, put stuff in house. What happens in house stays in house. T-Rob. You know that. You know the rules.
I don't know about you.
All I know is I think I heard him say it to Andrew Wiggins about 5 times in the one practice I was there when Wiggs was there as a freshman.
Yeah, such a gentle guy with his words, man. Definitely. Like, he has a way of getting you going with his vocabulary.
Hey, T-Rob, it was a little bit different going from Jason Smith to Bill Self, wasn't it?
I mean, honestly, no. Two crazy white boys. No.
Come on.
Not at all. I think that's kind of that's been the formula to my success. You know, I need so I need him to stay on me, man. So you know, shout out to Brewster, doing great per usual, and Coach Smith, man. But no, he was tough too, man. So hey, you need a little bit of that. I think that's the problem now when you're giving these guys money and then the coach is getting softer, man, because you know Billy ain't the same as he was.
They have to be softer because if they're not, they're gonna leave. I know Self isn't that way. Izzo isn't that way. But a lot of them have changed because they feel like they have to. Otherwise, these kids aren't staying.
Right, it's sad. You know?
You got a point. You do have a point. But it's also how they come in some ways too. You know, sometimes everybody's coming in thinking it's only a 1-year deal anyway. If I'm going to like it for 1 year, or I don't like it for 1 year. That's not how it used to be. When you sign somebody, you knew you were here and you were going to grow and get better. And let's do this together. So it's a little different now.
Yep. You mentioned Goodman a little bit earlier, the court storming, right? Like this is Syracuse. This is a program, at least when I was growing up, was a top 10 program in the sport. Storming the floor when a football school comes into their building. But at the same time, like T-Rob, you were all about it, man. Like I feel like when you are the Cuse fans, you've kind of been through the ringer a little bit when it comes to some of these tough seasons, and you have the opportunity to beat a top 15 team at home, to beat a team that's been to the Elite Eight recently and has been where you want to be. Like go enjoy it, man. Let out some of those demons, exercise some of those demons, and get on the floor. Go celebrate on the Carrier Dome court.
Yeah, we didn't storm the floor during my time in Kansas. I'm all for it, but we're usually not in that position.
Well, you also didn't have a stretch where you didn't go to the tournament for 4 straight years. That's where Syracuse is at right now. This is year 5.
Yeah.
This is year 5. They're a proud program. They're hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with those students because, again, if you're a senior right now, think about it. If you're a senior at Syracuse, you've never seen the NCAA tournament. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, enjoy it. It's part of college basketball. It's what makes college basketball. You know, the upsets and the store forming, you know, tailgating before the game. All these things make college basketball. So keep it around, man. Don't mess up the tradition. It's already slipping away.
People stormed it on you. Hey, people stormed it on you, correct? At Kansas.
I got one floor stormer. I forgot who it was, but one. I can't remember right now, but it was one.
And did anybody mess with you?
Lost. Nah, man. Everybody let me walk out. I was pretty fearful in college. They did not smile so much.
It's the coaches that get trampled.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's the coaches.
Nobody's intimidated by Norm.
It makes them madder when they get to the locker room. They even more madder when they get to the locker room.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to Michigan State quickly. Number 7 team in the country, 71-52 win over Iowa in Ben McCollum's first game as a Big Ten coach in the Big Ten Conference. Norm, I thought the really impressive thing I thought here was what Michigan State was able to do defensively against Sturts, especially in the first about 15 minutes. Everywhere he went, he saw 2 defenders in front of him. He's coming off of a screen. They're hedging and dragging that screen out. He's trying to get to a gap. They're helping, and there's already an extra body there. I love watching this Michigan State team, what they can do defensively, the way that they play. And if you were going to tell me that a team with Jeremy Fears, Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, and Kurtang was going to be a team that I love to watch, I would have called you crazy before the season started. But I am all in on this Michigan State team.
Well, the one thing is they played together for a while now. They like each other. They know each other. They know how to play with each other. On ball screens, they corralled every single ball screen and made sure he saw two people. He hit Bennett hit his first shot, a deep three. And I'm going, oh my God, this guy's going to go off. And I don't think he made another shot for the next 10 minutes. And they did a great job of switching up on him, corralling him, not allowing him to go. The thing that's going to be tough for Iowa, they've got to find another person that can score. They've got to find some other scorers on that floor, not just catch and shoot guys, because in that Big Ten league, it is going to be physical. Those teams are athletic. Michigan State's big guys can get out there and they're going to hedge hard on ball screens and make it really tough for you. And I knew that in order for Michigan State to win the game, they had to crush them inside. They had to go inside out no matter what, get that ball in the paint. And early on, Iowa pressured them out of that. But once Michigan State kind of calmed down and got into the flow of the game, they dominated the paint the whole time.
Goodman?
Iowa just doesn't have the size. They still look like they're big, still look like they're Drake bigs, and some of them are. That's the problem, right? He brought his bigs with him, and Sturts just doesn't have enough around him. You know, Dauster, like, there's no bigger fan in the country than me of Bennett Sturts. But you got to surround him. Yeah, you got to surround him with more. Like, the NBA guys love him too, but you got to give him more size, more athleticism, and they're overmatched against a team. They can win games against the middle of the Big Ten. Like, they'll win some games. I think they'll be a fringe tournament team, but ultimately they're not beating the elite teams because they just don't have the size or the athleticism.
But also, can I push back real quick on this, T-Rob? It's Bennett Sturt's first game in the Big Ten. It's been Ben McCollum's first game in the Big Ten, and they're going on the road to East Lansing to a Michigan State team that looks like a top 5, 6, 7 team in America, right? There's going to be a lot of really good teams that Michigan State makes look like not very good teams in that building on a Tuesday night when it's as loud as it is. I'm willing to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think that they're one of the top 5 teams in this conference, T-Rob, but I think that this is like I think they're dancing. I think that they're probably like a 7/8/9 seed somewhere in that region. I just think they ran into a buzzsaw tonight, and that'll happen.
I agree with you. Tough win to try to go in and get tonight, but I'm scared. Sometimes I'm scared for Iowa because sometimes you play against teams and they kind of expose you. And I think tonight they exposed that Iowa has nobody outside of Sturts. They played the ball screens tremendously, and that was one of Izzo's focal points going into the game, and they completely shut their whole offense down, like completely. It was done. Sturts had a slow night all because of how they played him, coming off those ball screens and making sure he doesn't get his shots off, and I love Sturts. Got game. So to see that tonight, I'm kind of scared for Iowa. I think other teams see that, and they go and they try to do the same thing against them, just blow up the ball screens. And I don't know where their offense is head after that. So I got to keep my eye on Iowa. But as of now, I see them at the bottom of the pack, especially in a tough conference.
All right, Dagan, we got any questions from the chat before we get out of here?
Yeah, I have one for you guys.
Okay.
We talked about, obviously, the ACC-SEC Challenge today. What game are you guys most excited for tomorrow? I have the schedule right here, so I'll pop it up. I'm assuming most of you are going to say Louisville, Arkansas, but
yes,
let me know.
That's the one. Louisville, Arkansas. Yeah. Norm, break that down for me. Louisville going into Bud Walton Arena.
Louisville, Arkansas. I like North Carolina State, Auburn. I think that's going to be a heated game. Mm-hmm. A lot of athletes in that game.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, T-Rob.
Yeah, NC State got a lot of athletic guards that I like. A couple young freshmen, Matt, that I love watching. So I think that's going to be a fun one as far as getting up and down, especially after today. Today was a lot of gritty, grinded out, low-scoring games. I think we're going to see some more points get put on the board tomorrow night.
The unders did very well today in the big games.
I'm sure.
The unders did very well. Goodman, you're I think we know. I don't think you have to really research too hard to figure out who you are going to be rooting for when Louisville pays a visit to Arkansas. Do you think
I
Louisville
don't
can
root.
walk in? Yo,
I don't
okay.
root. I don't root for anybody.
Okay.
Root.
If you say
I
so.
mean, come on. I hate everybody. Everybody knows I hate everybody equally.
Except for Rowan Brumball. You love Rowan Brumball.
Yeah,
and
Rowan
that's about
Brumball
it.
and Bennett Stokes. Here's what I'll say is you're going to get two potential first-round picks, maybe lottery picks at the point guard position tomorrow when Louisville faces Arkansas. And that's Mikel Brown Jr., who is friggin' awesome. I mean, he's just a stud in every single way. And Darius Acuff, who's electric, and it's been pretty good for the most part this year. He's been more up and down than Mikel Brown Jr., but he's a talented freshman who can go get one whenever he wants. The thing for me is I just think Louisville's got so much shooting, so much experience, and the front lines are probably going to determine who wins this game, to be honest, because both front lines are a little bit iffy, right? You don't know what you're going to get out of Arkansas. And Louisville with Sananda Frew and some of their other guys up front. Obviously, you got Pryor coming back. Hadley's been really good. I give the edge to Louisville here.
I think you give the edge to Louisville big time. I have a very hard time seeing Arkansas being able to guard Louisville the way that you need to be able to guard Louisville to slow them. The way they get up and down, the way that they fire the ball up the floor. You know, you got 4 guys on that team that can go out there and hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. I don't see Arkansas being able to stop that. Go ahead, Norm.
If Brazil shows up, it changes Arkansas. If Brazil shows up, because that guy is a freak athlete, if he shows up and plays aggressively, it changes Arkansas.
Can I give you the most interesting game of the night tomorrow? And probably for me, the most interesting game of the challenge. That's SMU at Vanderbilt. Because Vanderbilt is like top 5, top 10 in all of the metrics. And I don't know. Yeah, they're 4 in the
Sleeper
net.
team.
And SMU is undefeated, and they've beaten Murray State. They've beaten Butler. They won at Mississippi State. So that is the one where I think we're going to learn something about one of those two teams. I don't know who it's going to be, and I don't know what it's going to be. But like Vanderbilt's got 2 guys, Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner, that have been unbelievable. I didn't know anything about Tyler Tanner. Duke Miles I thought was just okay after watching him at Oklahoma last year. So I'm very curious to see how that game is going to end up playing out. And look, if Vanderbilt wins that game by 15, I think it might be time for us to say Vanderbilt's for real.
It's amazing. It's amazing, Rob, how guys can go from one school and you can Duke Miles. He's at Oklahoma, and you're saying he's just okay, and then he goes
and go to
Vandy, and he's terrific. It's a crapshoot when you talk about the transfer portal. You know, with guys, some guys fit some places, some guys don't fit in other places. It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. He's one of the guys who I think for sure benefited off the transfer portal and going to a better spot, better opportunity. He looks like a pretty different player. So, you know, that's always a plus when it works out. So it's crazy, though, to see guys just pack up and be out and right back settled in the next school next year. So, hey, it's the new landscape. We're still getting used to it, but I'm sure the coaches don't mind.
You're Rob, you would have made money. You would have made money right now. That's all I know.
Yeah, I would have stayed there. I would have stayed at KU, though. I don't think I would have left.
Yeah, I like it. Tell him, T-Rob, I like it.
No, he would have stayed. T-Rob would have stayed, but he still would have held you guys hostage. He would have held. He would have.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I would have stayed.
No doubt.
Hey,
no doubt.
I might have been asking for money as the year went on because we wasn't expected to go that far. I'd have been like, well, we're top 10 right now. I'm gonna need an extra. So yeah,
that only would have happened if you signed. That absolutely would have happened if you signed Goodman as your agent. I can promise you that much.
Exactly.
Call Bill up. Here's what I would have done. Call Bill up. Said, and I would have called them at like 6:30 for a 7 o'clock game and been like, "Hey, Bill, you need an extra $100,000 right now. He ain't playing."
Oh my God! Yeah, nah.
What he would have said is,
Take him out of the pregame warm-up right now.
yeah, what he would have said is $100,000 or T. Rob's got a hamstring injury. That's what he had.
Oh my God! Hey, you know what? Just to touch on that before we get out of here, man. Before we get out of here, I do want to say one thing. I spent some time around Darren Peterson, and when I say he's one of the kids who I believe is going to change the landscape of the buddy concept that, you know, some of the guys and younger players have around them right now, that they're too friendly, it's not much competition and rivalry no more. I think he's going to be one of the guys that change that, because he's a different animal, bro. He's a complete different animal. Definitely. Exactly. And Cade's one of the few out of this bunch who still has that in him, you know, that mentality. And I love it because, you know, he's a dog. So faking an injury and sitting out, it's not in him. Oh, not one bit. Not one bit.
Well, listen, guys. T. Rob, it was great to get you on here and get you in the rotation. And
appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Norm, it's always good to see you. And Goodman, all of us here tolerate you. And it felt like that was we were able to tolerate you tonight. But for our producers, Dagan Hughes and Trevor Release behind the scenes making the show run, we appreciate all you guys being here. T-Rob, you got to come back, because one day I will tell you the story about how the greatest prank that was ever pulled on me happened while I was watching you beat Missouri in overtime in 2012 in a top 5 battle in Fog Allen Fieldhouse. We'll tell that story.
The block.
Field is 68 after dark. We'll see you tomorrow night.